call the December 2nd regular meeting of the Louis-Riel School Division Board of Trustees to order. We begin with the land acknowledgement tonight by Trustee Kolachuk.
Thank you, Chair. The Louis-Riel School Division brings together a vibrant community of learners, educators, and families united on the traditional and sacred lands of the Anishinaabe, Nunavut, and Dakota peoples. Our division is deeply rooted in the national homeland of the Red River Métis, a history we cherish and strive to honor daily. We also acknowledge that Manitoba is the ancestral land of the Anishinaabe and Dene Nations, and we are grateful to share in the stewardship of this land. We honor the treaties made on these lands and commit to ongoing and reflection and education about the past and present injustices faced by the Indigenous community. We acknowledge that reconciliation is an active process that requires listening, understanding, and genuine collaboration. In this spirit, we strive to build authentic relationships with Indigenous communities, embracing our shared responsibility to foster respect, dignity, and equity in all that we do. We also recognize the essential contributions of Shoal Lake 40 First Nation, which sustains us with the life-giving water that flows to Winnipeg, and the treaty territories that provide the energy powering our everyday lives. Through our programs, curriculum, and community initiatives, we dedicate ourselves to nurturing a deeper understanding of Indigenous perspectives and histories, working towards a more inclusive and respectful future for all.
Thank you very much for that. So again, welcome to everybody joining us in the room and online to our meeting. We have a 15-minute public question period at the end for anybody who wants to ask questions about items that are on the agenda. If you've got questions, of course, that aren't part of our agenda tonight, please reach out by email to info@lrsd.net. You should know that we record our meetings. We live stream on YouTube, and those recordings ensure that we capture minutes accurately. So as an extension of that, we prefer that you unless you have permission to record on your own here or take any pictures, we ask that you not do so. Our mission is for all members of our community to excel as caring, confident, capable, and resilient lifelong learners who contribute to a democratic and sustainable world. And our mission is to provide a safe, inclusive, and engaging environment where personal and collective learning are valued and each one of us reaches our full potential. First item on the agenda is to approve the agenda for the regular board meeting tonight. I need a mover and a seconder, please. Trustee Walker and Trustee Simignola. All those in favor? Any opposed? Oh, sorry, I'm going too fast.
No, you're not going too fast, just something to not. Just been on the refresh that I might have needed to just.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, Vanessa.
That's okay. Let's try again. That needed.
Sorry?
This doesn't work. You want me to stop sharing?
No, you can.
No, okay. Then you will record the vote.
Okay, so regarding the approval of the agenda, we have a mover and a seconder, so we're going to refer by show of hands. All those in favor? Walker and Semignola. I saw all hands up, so that motion is carried. Thank you. Okay. The next item is to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of November 18th. Those were circulated in advance. Were there any errors or omissions? Seeing none, we will accept those as distributed and archive them accordingly. This takes us to news. First of all, from Trustee Bjornson.
Yeah, so thank you, Chair. I unfortunately was only able to attend one event, but it was a very good event. And that would be the ATC Winter Market. And I did see some of you there. And of course, that was on Saturday. It was really well received by the community, well attended, very successful. I measured the success of event. My own rubric for that is, are my pants tighter and is my wallet lighter? I checked both boxes after that event. Lots of great food, lots of great crafts that were for sale. And the principal took the time to tour me around the facility. It had been some time since I'd been there. In fact, I think a substitute taught there 9 or 10 years ago for 3 or 4 days in between gigs per se. But I had a great tour to see all the great programs and how much they've grown and advanced programs in the last few years. And of course, the thing that surprised me was that I discovered that Santa Claus was a graduate of Glenlawn, and Santa Claus was a phys ed student in Trustee Nordheim's class. So I've got a picture of Santa giving a wave. As you can see, he did well in phys ed class as well.
Which is sad that I'm older than Santa. Thank you very much.
And as you can see, a good crowd on hand with lots of great crafts for sale. And of course, I bumped into Minister Cable, who was there serving those wonderful pancakes. The other thing that I provided for you, if you haven't had the time to do so, is a list of all the upcoming Christmas concerts that I can find, or pardon me, holiday concerts that I can find that were available online with the different schools that are hosting them. And I do hope to attend as many of those as I can. And perhaps we can make a social evening of it for those who are looking to attend one of those concerts. Just let each other know, and perhaps we'll see each other there. But I'm looking forward to the next time I do this. We'll have had an opportunity to attend many more events and programs.
Thank you very much. And in fact, given that you've done that legwork on concerts, we could just have them put in our calendars, trustee calendars.
We are working
Are there-
with communications right now. There will be something posted online that will show you all of the divisions.
Oh,
So we are working on that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. News from the senior leadership team this evening provided by Assistant Superintendent.
So on November 28th, Samuel Berlin School hosted a professional learning day, which focused on strengthening student success across all grades. Educational assistants and student service teachers engaged in their second session of TCIS, which is schools training. While the classroom teachers collaborated with colleagues from Highbury School and HS Paul School to deepen their understanding of literacy interventions, exploring practical strategies and designing projects to enhance literacy outcomes. They share that this learning experience highlights the school's commitment to inclusive practices, proactive intervention, and cross-school collaboration. And moving to St. George, there's a picture of a ticket there, I think. So at St. George School, the student leadership group is launching the school's first house system activities for students, bringing students from multiple grades together for fun, inclusive indoor and outdoor events that build connection and schools. In the library, kindergarten classes have started an exciting collaboration exploring trees around the world. Students will fly, as you see the ticket, on St. George Airlines using Google Earth. And with guidance from Indigenous Learning Team member Judith Saunders McKay, they learn about Indigenous relationships. Grade 3-4 students are engaging in day 6 enrichment sessions, creativity, build confidence, and learn in this environment. And then finally, at St. George on December 17th, every student will receive a pair of pajamas thanks to a partnership with family, staff, and the project. Oh, and the school also looks forward to celebrating winter solstice week together in cozy PJ spirit. To Glenwood School, I think the pictures are further down too. Perfect, thank you. So Glenwood School launched a developmental swim program for students with complex needs that runs weekly. Program focuses on essential life skills, swimming and water safety, while also supporting physical development, sensory regulation, and personal independence. School has reported that students are experiencing a lot of success and having fun. And so we do want to recognize and thank educational assistants who support students during this experience. And the school does note that they are grateful to the supervisor of developmental supports, Lisa Chimchuk, for helping to develop and implement this. Glenwood is now looking at inviting other schools to, in the Glenlawn family, join with them. And then to Minnetonka School. So Minnetonka School is grateful to be included in the Winnipeg-based pajama project as well, initiative that provides new pajamas to children across the city. The goal of the project is to ensure that every child has a warm, comfortable PJs during the colder months. And so this donation during the program is supported by generous community members, organizations, and volunteers. And every set has been individually gift wrapped by the Pajama Project volunteers. So every student also in that school will get their pajamas. If you scroll down a little bit further, you'll see a display. And so this display was created by the Indigenous Language Education Team, which invites students to explore identity and belonging by highlighting Indigenous self-reconciliation and connections to land, water, culture, language, and community. And then finally, if you scroll a little bit further, so there are two teachers that are mentioned here, Ms. Porter and Ms. Tarkani's grade 5-6 classes. They've joined together to do a project called Where I'm From. So we did have a recording that's not able to be played today, but it is going to be a link that's sent out to you. So please listen to a number of students who shared their voices. So I'm thankful to Tamara. You will see her picture here. She's given us permission to have her poem read to you today. So I'll read that on behalf of Tamara. Where I'm from. I'm from sound of laughter while playing Lodo in Nigeria, and the sound of my mum saying I love you. I'm from the big gates outside and the big compound from where my car was parked. From the green walls in my house to the sweet smell of my mom's cooking. And from the form of my character, the times I went to school and had a great day. I'm from the choir and church singing songs and from the marks of Nigeria and America left on me. When I go somewhere, I close and reopen new chapter. I am from this world and no one can change that. For my heart will lead me through my journey. Thank you to Tamara for sharing your voice with us.
Wow. That's lovely. Thank you very much to both of you for your news this evening. Item number 4, presentations to the board. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Jim Silver and Fran Taylor to our boardroom this evening. You reached out and made a request to share some information and some of the work that you've been doing related to adult basic education, and we are very pleased to welcome you. The podium is yours. We're a large group. We've all got name tags here, but we can do a round of introductions if you wish, whatever you, or you can launch right in. It's up to you.
I'm gonna just launch right.
All
now, if
right.
That's all right.
All right.
My name's Fran Taylor. I am a retired director of Seven Oaks Adult Learning Center since last February. And about 3 years ago, Jim Silver, we've been in contact for quite a few years, but he called me up and wanted to do some work on adult education. He was ready to jump back into the research life. And Jim wrote a paper called Unbury This, no, tell me the title. Unearth This Buried Treasure. He later followed it up with kind of a 14-point plan on what could have happened in adult education in Manitoba to make it the strongest adult education programs in the country. Just recently, in the beginning of 2025, he and I worked on a project that was with Probe Research, and I'll have him tell you details about it. But what we did was we worked with 5 different programs around the province, and we gathered information from graduates that had been gone for 2 to 5 years to find out what was going on with them. Was this program that we're running, are these programs successful? Are they worth the effort of the province to put money in? And we found resoundingly that they were. So I'm going to let Jim go over some of the information that we found from this study.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for having us here this evening. So adult basic education includes adult learning centers that offer the mature high school diploma for those who didn't complete their high school diploma on time, as is often said. I don't think the on-time idea is a very good idea. It's a little bit rigid. People are different one from the other, and there's lots of valid reasons why people do not graduate high school when they're 18. But adult learning centers are there to help adults who hadn't previously completed high school. Adult literacy programs bring students literacy and numeracy skills up to high school entry level. There are 34 adult learning centers in Manitoba, right across the province, 25 adult literacy programs. Off and on, over the past 20 or 25 years, I've been doing research on adult basic education. I've interviewed directors and teachers of programs all across the province, some of them multiple times. I'm totally a fan of adult basic education. The people working in the system are marvelous. They're amazing. It is a hidden gem. Almost nobody knows about adult basic education, but it's highly successful. Last year, 1,100 adults graduated with their mature high school diploma. Since 2003, when the Adult Learning Center Act came into force, 25,000 adults have graduated with their mature high school diploma, and yet funding has been flatlined. This is a big problem. When funding is flatlined, as you all know, as members of the Board of Trustees, that means in real purchasing power terms, there's a decline in funding, despite the success of the program. So, as Fran said, we did this study early in 2025 at 2 adult learning centers in Winnipeg, Seven Oaks Adult Learning Center and Urban Circle Training Center. The Adult Learning Center in Altona, one in the Paw in northern Manitoba, and at Boissevain Killarney in southwestern Manitoba. So a nice kind of geographic spread. We worked with Probe Research, who are very skilled at doing this kind of survey research. Effectively, what we did was to say to these 292 graduates, what were you doing before you started at your adult learning center? And what are you doing now? And the results truly were remarkable. I knew the results would be good. They're better than I had expected. The first finding is that adult basic education pays for itself. The number of people who move off employment and income assistance, so the province saves that money, together with the number of people who move into full-time employment, so the province gets income tax revenue as the result of their being employed full-time. Those two amounts together are sufficient that over a 10-year period, adult basic education pays for itself. So basically, it's a free program. And after 10 years, and it's now been 20 years or 25 since we've had the system in place, the province is making money off adult basic education. So I think it's important to know that from a fiscal point of view, a financial point of view, this is not a burden on the system. This is a genuine benefit to the system, even thinking narrowly in financial fiscal terms. The other thing we found, we asked everybody 3 questions. Are you happier now than when you started at your adult learning center? Do you think your children benefited from your graduating from the adult learning center? And do you feel as if you're on your way to a good life? 90% of respondents said yes to each of those 3 questions, which I think is really quite remarkable. And what I think it means is that those graduates are creating happier, healthier, stronger families. And all of you know that kids do well in school or they don't do well in school in large part depending upon the health and the strength of their families. Where you've got families that are struggling, that are torn apart for the wide variety of reasons that we know about, the likelihood is those kids are not going to do well in school. When families are strong, where you've got parents who are going to school, so they believe in education, they encourage their children. If parents are doing homework at the kitchen table in the evening, the kids see that. All of those things mean that not only is adult basic education benefiting the adults who graduate, it's also benefiting their children, and that's the connection to your school board and your responsibilities for K-12. Adult basic education improves outcomes in K-12. So what Fran and I have been doing subsequent to the publication of this study is meeting with school boards. So we've met with a number of school boards. Those school boards here in Winnipeg have said that they're going to write a letter to the provincial government, calling upon the provincial government to increase its funding for adult basic education. The funding now is minuscule. $21 million a year, basically been in real purchasing power terms flat over the last 25 years. 21 million in Manitoba's provincial budget is like me having 25 cents in my pocket. It's really a minimal amount. We're calling for a doubling of the funding. We believe everybody benefits when more people are attending adult basic education. So we're calling upon the Louis Riel School District Board to also write a letter to Premier Canoe and to the minister responsible, Renee Cable, calling upon them to increase funding. So we've been speaking to school boards, getting a very positive response. We're meeting with the Manitoba Teachers Society on December 6th. We're working closely with ASEC, which is the Adult Secondary Education Council that represents teachers and directors in adult basic education. They are very enthusiastically on board, working with their membership across the province. So we invite you, we call upon you, ask you to write a letter to Premier Canoe and Minister Cable, calling for a doubling of the funding or an increase in funding. We believe the funding ought to be doubled, and we'd greatly appreciate that, and happy to respond to questions if there are any.
Trustees or members of the senior team for that matter, any questions for Mr. Silver? Trustee Walker.
I don't have a question, I have a comment. But in East Elmwood for the last 15 years, I've seen the benefits of adult education for my students' parents. It is very powerful, I think. Well, gain employment and enrich their family.
Yeah. Thank you.
Trustee Bjornson.
Thanks for the presentation. My question would be double the funding. Are you proposing doubling programs or taking existing programs and building on the success of those programs, or what do you see as a vision for adult learning?
Combination of the two. I think that there are areas in the province where we would benefit from having adult basic education where we don't now. But really, almost every adult basic education program is really struggling. People are working on reduced time. They can't offer all the classes that students need to get their mature high school diploma. So I think that a big chunk of the funding, the increased funding, would go into existing programs. One of the studies that I did asked directors in all of the adult learning centers in Manitoba, how much more money do you need, and what would you do with it? And it was really quite remarkable because they gave me very detailed responses. They really know where the shortcomings are and what they would do with increased funding. So a bunch of it would go into existing adult programs. Some of it would build new ones. Across the north, tomorrow, Thursday, I think, another paper that I've done on adult basic education in northern Manitoba. There's real problems there. In the north, fewer than 50% of high school students graduate. And adult basic education would be particularly advantageous there. And we're apparently going to get lots of economic activity in the near future in northern Manitoba. And in order for northerners themselves to benefit from those big economic projects, adult basic education is really what a piece that is needed.
Trustee Sigurdsson.
Would it be advisable or even feasible to move this into purview of school boards to say have an LRSD adult education, have a Seven Oaks adult education? That fragmented too much, or would that be a better way of having the bureaucratic control through the elected representatives?
Both Fran and I believe that would be a better way. Right now, The money flows from the provincial government to an organization in Minister Cable's department called Adult Learning and Literacy. They then distribute the money. I don't think we need that body. And I think both Fran and I believe that adult basic education ought to be run by and through school divisions. I think that would be more efficient. The one proviso that I've heard from teachers is adult education is different than K to 12. So school divisions shouldn't be trying to impose K to 12 pedagogy upon adult learners. But that aside, yes, in response to your question.
Not to try to end our build or anything, but it does seem, maybe we can look into that, advocating towards that.
And yeah, just to add to that, 20 odd years ago, it was part of Department of
That's
Education.
what my memory,
And
because of my memory, I thought it had been.
yeah.
I didn't do it.
No, you didn't do it. I know.
Other questions, trustee Palmquist?
I would say I'm really impressed by the, particularly some of the analysis you do on the causal relationship between income and EIA recipients and completion of the program. I mean, it couldn't be more, stark, the direct impact. And it makes me wonder if there are, well, of course, I'm not the first person to suggest this, but if there are other opportunities for, making such an obvious case where there's financial net benefit to government from a particular investment, particularly when it comes to education, both in adult education and across the entire education system, post-secondary, secondary.
Fran and I have been pretty active in meeting with provincial ministers. We met twice with the NDP caucus before the October 2023 election. They were all very positive. We've met with Minister Cable, we've met with a number of other ministers, and the refrain is always exactly the same. We love what you're doing. We believe in adult education, but sorry, Jim and Fran, we don't have any money. So they accepted the last government's tax cuts. They brought in more tax cuts of their own. They're spending, quite rightly, big time on healthcare and on homelessness. And once you add up those things, there's, this tiny little bit of money left and hundreds of us pounding on the door asking for it. So we don't, Fran and I, we're nice people. We don't have any clout. So they can easily just say, sorry, we don't have any money. So that's the challenge that we're facing. And that's why we've come to school boards to invite you to write to the minister to say this matters for K to 12. We're going to meet December 6th with the Manitoba Teachers Society. They've got some clout. So we're trying to push.
One follow-up question.
Yeah.
One of the things you mentioned in terms of the post-success survey and the outcomes on families, I wonder if there might be any data that could emerge from this concerning the impact on children, the children of the program's participants, in terms of their educational outcomes from their parents having completed this.
Talked about that.
Well, one of the things that we've been tracking with Seven Oaks is had a childcare program there for the adult ed program. It's paid for by the school division, actually. And we've been tracking the kids that were in the program. And we're noticing that, that they're coming from areas where it maybe isn't as successful, and they're doing quite well. So there is an impact. We know there's an impact. The other thing that I found was that we have adult students coming to us whose parents graduated through us.
Right.
So they trust us and they are ready to move on. And then the other carrot that we have, which actually you have here too, is the technical programs that you have. Because they can get 8 to 10 credits just from those programs. And a mature student diploma is eight credits with an English and math at the grade 12 level. So they could come and take the technical programs with you, get English and math, hopefully with an adult learning center, and be graduates, but walk out with a job too, right? So it's quite lucrative.
study you're suggesting it's a very good idea, in my opinion. It would be difficult to work through how exactly to do it and what the ethics implications.
Mr. Bjornson?
Yeah, just wondering if the classes don't reach their threshold for enrollment to offer a course, is there any collaboration between the learning centers for hybrid models of delivery that might use online, synchronous, asynchronous delivery of programs? Or are they still standalone programs?
No, they're quite diverse now. I think COVID really changed that. So there's independent programs, there's online programs, there's kind of dual where they can come in for part of the class and be out or online. So it's quite diverse now.
A lot of innovation in the system in that respect, but as a sort of a follow-up to that, none of the adult learning centers advertise. That's partly why nobody knows about adult basic education. Why don't they advertise? Because on occasions in the past, when they've done it, they've been flooded with applicants. In other words, there's a big unmet demand out there, adults who are struggling, who would like to get their mature high school diploma. We don't have the capacity to meet that demand.
Any other questions? Any questions? Comment?
Well, I applaud this work and hopefully we're successful in advocating the government. We need to double the funding at a minimum. Right now in LRSC, trustees know we're trying to secure funding through foundations for our work in this area. And even that is going to be an effort to demonstrate to government the need for them to be the ones providing.
On behalf, I'm sorry, go ahead. Yep.
Have you had an opportunity to present to MSBA? Manitoba School Boards Association that reaches actually over.
We have emailed them asking if we might meet with them and have had no response yet.
Okay.
So that reminds me I should follow up.
Thanks to both of you for joining us this evening. I can commit to the board having a conversation about your request for advocacy support. And we wish you good luck with your work. You're welcome here anytime. It's always nice to see you, Jim, again, and please bring guests or friends or whatever. Fran, it was nice to meet you. And we wish you both a good evening. Thanks very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Item number 5 related to staffing. We have 2 items. The first one is appointment of a director of staff services. We'll turn that through the superintendent to you, sorry.
No, that was
Through
okay.
you to Assistant Superintendent Gunther.
Sure, yes. So we're recommending that Derek Sheldon be appointed as Director of Staff Services immediately.
Okay, so the recommendation then is that Derek Sheldon be appointed as Director of Staff Services effective immediately. I need a mover and a seconder, please. Trustee Turner, Trustee Walker. Any questions on the motion? Are we electronic voting or show of hands? Not sure. Oh,
Yeah.
please, okay. All those in favor?
There's a clock on your screen. Mine's great.
Who are we waiting for? Kolachuk and Seminola. Oh, you're voting in favor? Good.
Yeah.
And I'll add my hand too. And the motion is carried. I think Derek is on the line tonight, so we extend congratulations to Derek and wish him great success in his new role. Thank you, everybody. Item number 2, notice of retirement. We have a few senior school administrators who are going to be leaving us at the end of the school year.
Colette Daly, Colette École Guillaume, Liette Carrière, Colette École Julienne, and Kim Melvin, Vice Principal of Cameron School, have provided early notification of their retirement.
So there is no motion attached to this one, but all 3 have made significant contributions to Louis-Riel School Division over their time here, and we thank them for that. There will be an opportunity to engage and extend well wishes in the coming months. And we wish them all the best in whatever comes next. Chair information to the board. The first item is related to fall professional learning that trustees had an opportunity to participate in through the Manitoba School Boards Association. This was held on November 24th. Trustee Semignola, Trustee Bjornson, Trustee Nordheim, and myself attended. Are you able to show the agenda or not, or the program or not really? Yeah. Just so that folks can see, I'll open the floor for any of my colleagues that were there to offer any gleanings or insight takeaways from the day. Anybody would like to? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was there for most of the morning. I missed one session in the afternoon. But I wanted to specifically just mention out a couple of things from the AEM. Jeff Keller updated a few bills that the government have passed or are working through. I think we've seen that Ron Cadiz has kind of gotten ahead of some of the work on that literacy week that he pointed out. So I was really happy. I was sitting on the table with Irene and Sandy. It was really just great to see that maybe some folks are going to be talking about that now and knowing that we're well ahead as a division. I think that was great. Talked a little bit about introduction of Bill C-39 on election financing and just updating on what that would look like. That would be a big change in 2026. We'll talk about everything else, but it was a really great day. Just focused on development versus having like 2 different days to do 2 different things. It was good just to connect with other colleagues within the province.
Mr. Bjornson, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I thought the update on the legislation and the invitation for legislation was rather interesting, and congratulations to the province on a very important move to improve democracy with the inclusion of Indigenous communities to school board elections. I was really happy to see that come to fruition. The final report on supporting the right to read was an interesting presentation as well, and closing off the day with what was a bit of a rebuttal to some extent, philosophies on how we should approach reading and literacy in our schools. So it'll be interesting to see where we go from here with the recommendations from the support for the right to read and where universities respond as far as teacher education programs are concerned. It was a very informative event, and appreciated having the opportunity to be there.
Trustee Nordheim, did you want to add anything?
No, I think that's good. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, but what my colleagues have already shared, I would certainly reinforce. There was well over 100 trustees in attendance, and it was, you know, that networking piece is also critical in addition to the learning that we did. So props to MSBA and the folks that put it all together, and we look forward to ongoing opportunities to engage through their work. That takes us to item 6.2, a notice of motion related to our swimming counts program. So Trustee Palmquist has brought forward a request for some information through a notice of motion. So the process on this one is that I will read out what this motion is, and it will come back to the board at the next meeting on December 16th for debate and vote. It is being seconded by Trustee Walker, which also will be reported at that time. So at this point, it is just a reading of it so that trustees and community are aware that this is something we will be talking about in 2 weeks' time. And it reads as follows. The Louis-Riel School Division Board of Trustees requests the superintendent to provide a report outlining the costs associated with continuation of the swimming counts program in the 26-27 LRSD budget year. This report should include, but need not be limited to, updated cost estimates for the swimming counts program for 2026-27 with the same schools and grade groupings, cost estimates and recommendations for expansion of the program to additional schools, any further information that may be appropriate as provided by the City of Winnipeg to facilitate the program long-term, which would assist the board and division in multi-year planning with a view to making the program permanent, and a recommendation on a process for adoption of swimming counts as a permanent program in the Riel School Division, subject to the outcome of the 2025-2026 pilot as reported when available. The board further requests that this report be made available for the board's consideration prior to the launch of the 2026-2027 LRSD public budget presentation. So again, this will come back to the board, be read, and we will have a conversation and a vote on this motion on December 16th. Item 7 is information coming to the board from the senior leadership team. We begin with a recent incident at Darwin School related to controlled access to our schools, and turning that one to our superintendent.
Thank you. As trustees know, on Friday, we shared with our community a troubling incident that occurred on Thursday at Darwin School. An individual unknown at the time to our community managed to enter into the school and confront a student in a washroom. A situation that no child ever have to face. The child bravely managed to break free from the individual and alert staff. And as a result, the individual was eventually arrested. We continue to work with police. We continue to investigate if this individual was at any time present in our school. As a result of the incident, I made clear on Friday that it had compelled us to review our safety measures and to strengthen those measures across all schools. I've provided an update to the community yesterday about those efforts. We are going to ensure controlled access in all LRSD schools. The expectation is that in all of our elementary schools by Friday morning, we will have implemented controlled access. And it may take longer for high schools, given the open campus that we have in our high schools. But if they can get to it by the end of the week, we want to see that happen. And so that controlled access in schools will look a certain way by Friday morning. In that some of the measures and technologies in place will be temporary. We're moving to ensuring that we have a universal, standardized level of quality relative to the measures, relative to the technology we're going to deploy, and that's going to take more time. I'm going to share an update with you tomorrow, and community will start to learn more about the details relative to their school community through the remainder of the week.
Trustees, any questions? All right, seeing none, I will just, before we move on, take this opportunity on behalf of the board to extend our thoughts to the Darwin School community, a very brave young girl and a bystander who acted quickly and decisively to assist in the apprehension. And we, of course, are at the ready as to assist in any way we can, and would like to extend deep appreciation to the entire school community, the teachers, the administrators, EAs, and anybody else who was in the school at the time who were part of this and who continue to provide support as they are asked to, as they can. It's a remarkable school community. It's filled with compassion and care and generosity. And it's because of that 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 they will get through this, and certainly with the support and extended leadership of our senior team here. And thank you on behalf of the entire board. Item 7.2 is related to capital projects. Trustees have a list there that was updated recently. I believe we're going to show it. And then just open it up for questions. It's quite a long list. Trustee Palmquist.
I wanted to ask a quick follow-up question concerning the JH Brands RFP. Just looking to understand what, I appreciate the language that's available, just looking to understand a little better what stage of this that is. Just specifically with respect to some of the conversations we've had in the past around design features on the outside, the safety components, active transportation, et cetera. So I just wanted to see if there will be an opportunity within this RFP timeline to visit that at the appropriate time.
There'll be an opportunity to consider the details of that RFP.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on this one? All right, work continues on many fronts. Item number 3, school and classroom support team monthly meeting. Is Nicholas on the line?
Yes.
Okay. Evening. Go ahead.
Good evening. On Tuesday, November 25th, the school and classroom support team had their third meeting of the year. The day started off in a great way with Trisha Wilson, who's a teacher on our Indigenous education team. Trisha led our morning smudge as well as providing the opening comments and connecting her work that she does on the land to the divisional land acknowledgement. Trisha is a traditional woman. She's very involved in her home community. She shared about the experiences over the summer navigating the devastating forest fires with family, friends, and community. She also shared about her son's role in the buffalo hunt and spoke about Sundance ceremonies as well as her involvement with Morgan's Warriors. It's a great way to start the day and a great way to learn more about one of our own teachers on our Indigenous education team. Next up were Rosa Gray and Shauna Strike, who are working with us around well-being in the school division. So Rosa is a Well at Work advisor and Shauna works for the Manitoba Teachers Society. They took a few moments in the morning just to explain to the members of the school and classroom support team that they would have an opportunity to take part in small focus groups to check in and contextualize the Guarding Mind survey data, to learn more about the current contributors and pinch points affecting staff well-being, and to explore strategies that could make a difference. So focus groups have been established. They'll be taking place on December 8th, 16th, 17th, and January 7th. We got a very good turnout and a good response rate from the members of the school and classroom support team. And I'd like to thank the admin team over at L'Oreal Arts and Tech Center for agreeing to host these important focus groups. Next up, the bulk of the meeting is spent working in the 13 small action groups that have been established. And I've shared with the school board a month ago or so about those action groups and how they focus on the 25 strategic actions that make up the multi-year strategic plan. The highlight at the end of the day was Marnie Wilson had reached out, our data strategy officer, on Friday afternoon to let us know we had an opportunity to welcome Jeremy Bray to the school and classroom support team. He was going to be in town on the Tuesday. So before our meeting ended, we were fortunate enough to welcome him in. Jeremy Bray is a member of the LRSD data team. He works remotely in Rivers, Manitoba. Jeremy has type 2 muscular atrophy, which is a degenerative disease. Jeremy shared part of his story with the school and classroom support team about growing up in a small town and the important role that educators, clinicians, and various support staff played during his K-12 school experience. If his name sounds familiar, it may be from reading about his back and forth with the Manitoba government to cover the cost of his life-sustaining drugs. Jeremy's story has been prominent recently in the Winnipeg Free Press as well as on CBC Manitoba. At the end of our meeting in the afternoon, we do stay for the whole day, and at the end of our clinical services meeting, we did get an update through the CBC app that our Premier Wab Kinew had reversed the decision that was made the day earlier and assured Jeremy and his family that the government would work with them to figure out covering the cost of the drugs that were about to be cut off by the drug company. So it was a nice way to end our day. I want to thank Marnie Wilson for coordinating having Jeremy join us, and the school and classroom support team will meet again on Tuesday, January 27th, 2026 to continue the work.
Thank you very much, Director Kelly. Any questions on any of the things that were shared? All right, Seeing none, we will move to 7.4, which is Clerical Professional Development Day. Turning that one to Derek Sheldon, our Director of Staff Services.
All right, thank you very much. As was previously shared, last Friday was a professional development day. So we leveraged technology to bring together our clerical employees from all school locations and board offices. We started the day with a presentation from CETA's Shelley Hopper, who led a discussion on understanding bias and anti-racism across school operations. It was designed as an interactive presentation with thought-provoking topics that uncovered the possibility of hidden bias and gave way to considering new methods to welcoming school communities. The afternoon, we shifted focus and took a look at training on some new technology, new applications that have been rolled out in schools recently, as well as some upcoming changes. In addition to applications, looking at some revised procedures as well. So that's what the afternoon was spent on. Just like to take a moment to give a great thank you to all of our clerical employees across the division. They've had a lot of changes come at them in the form of new programs. They're handling that change fantastic. As well, a big thank you to Michelle Linton for organizing this day.
Great, thank you very much. Any questions for Derek? Thanks for joining us this evening, Derek. Appreciate it. That takes us to policy. First one is regarding updates to admin protocol KFB to Assistant Superintendent Anderson.
Thank you. Policy KFB is all about community use of facilities after school hours and on weekends. We have a permit system in place by which community groups apply to access the space. There has been a slight update in response to a directive we received from the province just recently, and that is the following. Where activities involve combative sports, including but not limited to boxing, karate, taekwondo, mixed martial arts, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, the event must be sanctioned by a recognized authority to be legal and safe and proof of sanctioning is required. Is a recent directive from the province to all school divisions and community centers. And
so no motion on that, but yes, questions?
In terms of staff applying for use of divisional facilities, staff and programs that particularly focus on the students from our division. Is there a way of assessing that in terms of the number of requests that come in? Are we prioritizing those programs first before others?
that is an expectation set out in policy. There are in the policy and in the admin protocol, the priority approval is laid out. We could certainly get information from the police department around what the applications numbers look like and what type of groups are being.
I just would love to make sure that the students from this division are prioritized in terms of accessing those programs. And I guess the other thing is the meshing with and being respectful of maintenance in after school hours, including the summer, and making sure that that's coordinated in a way that particularly the high use gyms are accessed first for maintenance beginning in the summer, rather than at the end when maybe some of those programs are being brought forward. That's just, I know it's an addition, but if that could be considered.
I will need to speak with the facilities department.
Thank you.
I'm not sure how that scheduling proceeds.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Trustee Seminola.
Yeah, on the document here, it says effective November 21st, 2025. For some of these changes, do we know how many permit holders this is going to impact, or are we going to revoke the existing ones? What's the directive? Because I suspect we already have permits out there.
Yes, it will impact a very limited number of permits. We don't have very many that fall into this specific category. There was one specific event that I'm aware of where facilities department communicated directly with the event organizer to advise them that their permit could not proceed without official sanctioning. That conversation went well and the permit was canceled.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else? Thank you very much for that update. Item 8.2 is second reading related to policy JLE. Context from Assistant Superintendent Anderson.
This policy JLE came to you for first reading at your last meeting. And this policy is coming out of a recent legislation related to the Manitoba Advocate for Children and Youth, and a system that that body is putting in place to monitor children at risk who have sustained serious injury, including suicide attempts. We did invite feedback on the draft policy from school leaders in our last leadership lineup, and there was no feedback, which is a sign they're good with the policy as is. It will be going for second reading tonight. After that, we would again put out a call for more feedback before bringing it back for third reading.
Thank you. So the recommendation then is that policy JLE reporting requirements related to students who have sustained serious injury reviewed by the Policy Review Committee receive second reading and further reviewed in committee and brought back for third reading at a future date. I need a mover and a seconder for this, please. Trustee Turner, second. Trustee Bjornson, thank you. Any questions on this particular item? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you.
I put my hand up.
The list of correspondence that we have received since our last meeting is all in item 9. See that we have a few letters that have come our way. There's also correspondence from the Manitoba School Boards Association, which I would encourage you to engage with. We have one action item tonight related to the Safer Active School Route in St. Boniface project. So in correspondence, trustees will have seen an email request from Danae Penner, who's the Road Safety Outreach Coordinator, asking for board representation on this committee. The background, we've had some information come our way on this related to funding applications that are being that have been submitted, and Danae and her group would like to put a committee together in advance of those funding applications being responded to, so that they are ready to hit the ground running when the anticipated funding comes through. So at this point in time, I would open the floor for anyone who is interested to serve on this committee. We're looking for one individual. Trustee Walker is interested. Is anybody else interested in this? All right, a logical choice. So the motion then is for the board to recommend that Trustee Walker be appointed to the Safer Active School Route in St. Boniface project to represent the LRSD Board of Trustees and to provide a report to the board after each project meeting. Seconder, please. Trustee Seminola, Trustee Sigurdsson, any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed?
I'm saying yes again, Vanessa.
Sorry. My hands up.
Yeah, it's not coming.
Oh, nobody's is this time. All right, well, the motion, oh, there we go. There we go. Keeping us guessing. The motion is carried. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you, trustee Walker, for representing the board. I should also add that representation from, I don't know if it's necessarily the senior team, but staff representation was also requested. So there will be good representation overall from LRSD. So that brings us to public question period. Checking in with folks, anybody online to see if there's any questions. Hands up. All right, looking to our guests. Any questions today? No? All right. It was nice to see you again. Thank you very much for joining us. That brings us to the end of our agenda and we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone. Drive carefully on the way home. I hear it's kind of slippery. Oh.